Colorado High School Activities Association football is on Morgan County's B106 and the Eastern Plains Sports Network tonight from Legion Field in Fort Morgan. It's the regular season finale for the Fort Morgan Mustangs as they take on the Lutheran Lions. Along with Brian Nichol and Kevin Rohde, I'm John Beltran. The last time these two teams met, November 27th of 2021. Brian, one of the greatest victories in Fort Morgan Mustang football history. We know tonight's going to be a different story. Morgan graduated the majority of their starters. They're 3-6. Lutheran at 7-2 is already the league champions. The only thing for Lutheran tonight, they'll be without their starting quarterback.
Yeah, it's going to be a tough way to go out for the Mustangs tonight, but they'll give it all they've got. But Lutheran brought back a lot of their players, and but these kids will go out and give it a fight, and we'll see what happens. They're proud people. They want to put on their best show out here, and I think they will.
And, Kevin, it's senior night, and senior night always brings out something special regardless of the result of the game.
That's true. These kids they honored earlier today by calling them out by name and naming their parents and what their plans are for the future. This is their last time playing Friday Night Lights, last time playing for the Mustangs, last time playing on Legion Field. So it's bittersweet for them, and they're not going to leave anything out there on the field. They're going to give it all.
71 degrees in the booth, 38 degrees for kickoff here. And the opening kickoff is brought to you by Buildings by Design. Visit them on the web at buildingsbydesign.com. Keep in mind that tomorrow on 1010 KSIR, KSIR.com, and the Eastern Plains Sports Network, we'll have the opening round of the Class A playoffs at 1 o'clock when Wiggins, the number 3 seed, takes on the number 14 seed North Fork. And it looks like the Mustangs will be kicking it off with Brandon Marquez. And let's face it, Brian, that was a staple of his kicking career last year. Marquez doesn't kick like the way he did against Lutheran. Fort Morgan doesn't have a 4-state championship.
Yeah, that's for sure. He had 11 points in that game. Nothing bigger than that field goal he made there right towards the end of the game that put him up, that gave him the lead. So he's been a great addition to this Fort Morgan team for the last 2 years.
That was a 23-21 victory in dramatic style. So Marquez to kick it off. It looks like Trey Cicio is one of 2 Lions back deep to receive the Mustangs, dressed in their home maroons with the white pants, and Lutheran white jerseys, purple numerals, and purple pants.
Looks like the Cicio brothers are back.
And Joe is the leading receiver for this team. Yep, over 800 yards. So they've got some dynamic athletes. And that kickoff by Marquez is a line drive that'll be fielded on the run at the 19-yard line by Trey Cicio. Stutter steps, runs to his right, tries to spin out of a tackle and does. He's free along the left sideline at the 40-yard line. And there's a flag down. He's out of bounds just shy of midfield. That's going to be coming back. The flags are thrown at the 35-yard line. There's a reason that Cicio was freed up. And it will be against Lutheran, and that'll drive them back at least 10 yards, holding at the 35-yard line.
Yeah, that was more of a crackback blindside block, and I think that's what you got to be careful of when you're out there on a return team. When your running back or your receiver turns, you can't just block someone blindsided like that.
Their quarterback, who's got a limited number of attempts this season, is Chase Sorensen. Riken Daugard got stepped on last week after throwing for 2,000 yards during the regular season. But they've got a tremendous amount of weapons there, including the CCO brothers and Michael Lopez, a receiver to the right. Let's see if Kenny's the setback, and that looked like that was a false start somewhere as the ball was given to Ryan Kenny, but no play. And this will be a false start against Lutheran. That's a good way to start if you're the Mustangs. Let's face it, if they're going to be competitive in this game, they need all the breaks in the world. Mistakes by Lutheran, and that would include turnovers.
And on the other hand, they have to play a perfect game and no mistakes by the Mustangs.
1st and 15 from the 20-yard line. Out of the gun, there's the handoff to Kenny, running left. Tries to break out of a tackle, dives to about the 25-yard line before the hit is made by Noah Aguirre, the sophomore. 2nd down and 10 to go for Lutheran, right up to the line of scrimmage. Receivers split out to the left and right, 2 each side. Out of the gun, and now is that going to be another false start against Lutheran? They're out of sorts, and this could be because of the change in quarterback.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I think what happened there was the the right tackle for Fort Morgan stunted, moved over a little bit, and that caused the guard to jump.
Back to a 2nd down and 15 to go at the 20-yard line. 2 receivers split out again each side. Kenny, the running back, to the right of the quarterback, Sorensen. There's the handoff to Kenny, running off left tackle, and he breaks out of a tackle at the 25, still on his feet, across the 35, shy of a first down, or across the 30, before he's tackled shy of the yard marker, but he's going to get most of that back. It's a gain of 12 for Kenny, 2 carries for 17 yards, 3rd down and 3, up to the line of scrimmage at the 32-yard line. Looking for the quick snap as Sorensen. Mustangs nearly jumped as they realign on the right side. Same formation. They're all spread out for Lutheran on 3rd down and 2 from the 32-yard line. More than likely, this will be a handoff to Kenny, you would think. In motion to the left is Cicio. He's got it, though, in the jet sweep. 1st down along the left sideline to the 50-yard line. He's ushered out of bounds. Near midfield, a gain of 18. And a 1st down for Lutheran.
Yeah, they get right back up to the line of scrimmage. They do somewhat like Fort Morgan does that time. It took them a little while to get the play in, but
yeah, I mean, were they moving it 5 or 10 yards forward?
Yeah.
1st and 10 at midfield. The clock continues to run, even though he went out of bounds. Awaiting the snap as Sorensen has it, hands off to Kenny, and he's hit at the line of scrimmage. Tries to break out of the tackle, does, but he only gets a yard, maybe a 2nd yard. Jackson Weidrich and Colin Duckworth make the hit, a gain of 2. 2nd down and 8 yards to go. But this is a quick-moving offense, and they've been a quick strike offense this season. From the Mustang 48, 2nd down and 8 yards to go. Sorensen is going to roll out to his right. He throws on the run. Flag is down. The pass is caught by Cicio. Out of bounds at the 23, a gain of 25. But I believe this one is going to be nullified by a Lutheran penalty.
yeah, I think so. That could be holding.
And it was thrown pretty quickly.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no doubt that Sorensen had plenty of time. But now I think we know why he had all that time. We're still waiting for the preliminary indication. And this will be, what, the 3rd penalty on Lutheran already?
Right.
Yep. Yeah.
Actually, it's going to be the 4th because they've had the back block, like you mentioned, the 2 false starts. As a couple of Mustangs are checking in and out of the game, trying to get all the seniors in on senior night.
So they had illegal man downfield, plus they had holding.
Right. And those guys just have these Lutheran coaches pulling their hair out. Here they are on the cusp of going into the state playoffs, and they've got a team that's 3-6 that they should be able to handle really well, and they're just killing themselves.
2nd down and 21 to go from their own 39-yard line. A minute and a half into the game, Lutheran with a very first possession. 1 receiver split out to the right, trips to the left. More than likely looking that way will be the quarterback Sorensen, a right-handed throwing quarterback, awaiting the snap. And that one sails wide of the quarterback, and he's going to fall on the ball back at the 20-yard line. Talk about mistakes. That's going to set up a 3rd down and 40. I mean, have you seen a 3rd and 40? That's a loss of 19 yards on that errant snap. If they pick this up, Fort Morgan's in huge trouble tonight.
Yeah, they. I wasn't expecting this out of Lutheran, that's for sure, the way they've been playing this year.
Officially, it's a loss of 18. The ball's at the 21-yard line. They've got to get to the Mustang 40. 3rd down and 39 yards to go, nearly half the football field, or at least 4/10 of it. Maybe a little screen here. Sorensen, bubble screen out to the left, caught by Trey Cicio at the 35, and then he breaks out of a tackle. Then he's out of bounds. As over there for the Mustangs was Charlie Langford to make sure he didn't get too much further. A decent gain to the 33, a gain of 12 for, is that Trey or Joe Cicio? Now I lost my track there. I think number 3 caught it. Nonetheless, it'll be a punt on a 4th down and about 26 yards to go. And that was a low snap, and a kick was also low, and it goes out of bounds. Now we have another flag down as the ball went out of bounds at about the 37-yard line of Fort Morgan. The punt delivered by Samuel Smolin. Now let's see what that penalty marker is all about.
The punter's acting like he's all happy, but Keller, wasn't it Keller coming in?
Well, nobody roughed him.
Yeah, no one. He went right in front of him. No one touched him.
It was something, well, yeah, it was when Langford was coming off the field, he was getting an earful from the coaches. So,
Well, I mean, it was third down
yeah, it won't.
and a long, long way to go. Fort Morgan is going to have the ball, but they're going to take 15 yards if it is against the Mustangs.
Yeah, probably post-possession. Holding.
Wow. On the return team with the ball that wasn't even fielded.
And it was way back in the backfield, like after the punt was just made, then someone grabbed a hold of the defender.
All right, the punt only went for 27 yards. The Mustangs now with bad field position, starting at their own 31. Just over 9.5 to go in the opening quarter. I'm John Beltran with Brian Nickel and Kevin Rohde. We are thankfully indoors here in the press box, considering the 38-degree temperature at kickoff. Lining up on the right hash mark. Two receivers to the left. Another flag goes down, and it's going to be offsides against Lutheran. They lined up offsides.
Yeah.
I mean, this is insane. What have we seen? 6 or 7 penalties. We are essentially averaging a penalty every 20 seconds of game time. First down and 5 for the Mustangs at the 36-yard line. I mean, this is getting tough to watch, and we're barely into the game.
Like a preseason game, like first game of the season.
Pistol formation. Keller's in the backfield. The quarterback is J.J. Marquez, the freshman. Awaiting the snap. Realigning is Noah Aguirre. High snap. There's the pitch left to Keller. Tries to swing it to the outside, cuts it back, and he runs right into a Lutheran line for a gain of 1 as Ryan Kenny, the senior, made the tackle. It's going to be tough sledding tonight for David Keller, considering that Lutheran's got an excellent defense. Second down and 4 to go for the Mustangs at their own 37-yard line.
Yeah, they have a pretty stout defense, that's for sure, along with an excellent offense. So they got their work cut out for them.
Might not get much crowd noise from this particular broadcast because we've shut everything down in terms of the windows here, but we'll see what happens. Second down and 4 for the 37-yard line. Again, same formation. Did they line up offsides again? I think the right defensive end.
This number 50 is lined up offside.
These were way offsides. That's Peyton Garrett, a 6'1", 215 junior middle linebacker, lined up as a defensive end. Fort Morgan has the first down for them in this game. That is crazy.
Yeah, this is, calling this a first game is an insult to first games of the season.
You're right. I mean, you should be better than this. First and 10 for Fort Morgan at their own 42-yard line. No score. We played 3 minutes of what supposedly is American football. From the pistol formation, Marquez with a clap. Awaits a snap. Perfect snap. Handoff to Keller, running left. He's got yardage along the left sideline with a stiff arm, and he's knocked out of bounds across the 45 to the 47. Sam Whistler, the senior, makes the play, but there was a nice hole on that left side for David Keller. A gain of 6. Second down and 4 to go for Fort Morgan. And so far, so good. I mean, small blotches of success here, but they're getting it done.
Yeah, initially he was going to run it up the middle, but it was plugged. He bounced it outside to the left side and found some running room out there.
On second down and 4 to go from their own 48-yard line. Everybody bunched in tight. Only one receiver. It's out to the left side. Keller and Marquez having a small conversation. In motion to the right is Angel Lopez. High snap, handoff to Keller. That play looks like it's going to be busted up. He's going to be thrown for a loss. Ran laterally to his right, and the snap was a little bit high. The handoff was a little bit clunky. Thrown down near the original line of scrimmage. A loss of close to 6. Third down and 10 to go for Fort Morgan. And now they're going to have to pass.
Yeah, that play kind of blew up on them right from the get-go, and maybe a little awkward on the handoff. Lutheran did a good job on defense. Let's see what they can do on a 3rd and 10.
Well, at the very least, if Chase Redding continues to punt the way he has all season, Lutheran will not have good field position on their next possession. 3rd down and 10. 2 receivers split to the left, Johnson and Lopez. Again from the pistol. The play clock starting to run down a bit. Marquez has the football, rolls out to his left. He's got time. Now it closes in on him. Rolls out to his left. He's sacked. Back at the 40, 41-yard line by Kenny. Couldn't get rid of the ball, but It's a loss of only one on the sack, but it's been mentioned. And Kevin, I think you made the point last week, or one of you two. You got to just get rid of the ball.
Yep. Live to the next play and just get rid of it and don't lose that yard.
Yeah, no reason to take a sack there. There was nothing there. And now to punt will be Chase Redding standing at his own 26-yard line. CCO back deep to receive another high snap. Gets it off a wobbly punt. It will bounce at the 27-yard line, and that's not CCO. It takes a huge Fort Morgan roll inside the 10 to the 8. Holy mahungus, what a punt. And that went for 51 yards with a roll for Chase Redding, as Sam Whistler, the return man, really couldn't do anything because of the bounce it took.
Yeah, Redding's had a great year at that punting position. Did really well early and is doing well here at the end.
1st and 10 to go. It looks like
At the 9.
it's got to be at the 9-yard line, near that left hash mark. Sorensen from the gun. He'll pitch it forward. That'll be a pass to Joe Ciccio along the left sideline. It looks like he's got a first down as he just wiggled his way between Mustangs across the 15. Well, they give him the 19-yard line, but that's going to be a forward pass because he shoveled it forward. A gain of 10 to Joe Ciccio. 2 for 2 is Sorensen for 22 yards. At the 19-yard line. 6:27 to go, opening quarter, no score. Lutheran and Fort Morgan from Legion Field. Play action, bubble screen to the left is caught underneath for a short gain. And that might be, is that Trey CCO out there?
Number 10.
That's Whistler. Whistler with a gain of 3. 2nd down and 7 to go on that pass to Sam Whistler. Quickly, Sorensen is going to roll out to his right. Still rolling. Pressure coming. He's going to be taken down. That's going to be a sack back at the 17, 18-yard line. Noah Aguirre was one of 3 Mustangs. David Keller around the football, but it's back at the 18-yard line. Loss of 4, 3rd down and 11. And again, that's the benefit for Fort Morgan when a backup quarterback is playing.
Right, and that was more of a coverage sack because he had nowhere to go with the ball.
3rd down and 11. The Mustangs are looking just to stay in this game. On the right hash mark. 2 receivers out to the left. 2 on the short side of the field to the right side. Ryan Kenny in the backfield to the right of the quarterback. Sorensen with a 3-step drop. Pressure coming for the backside. Steps up, and he's sacked again at the 14-yard line. The Mustangs collapsing in on the quarterback. And that is Chase Redding. Looks like Ramirez was in there as well. A loss of about 4 or 5 yards again. It'll be 4th down and about 16 to go for Lutheran. That's the way you stay in the game with defense, which the Mustangs defensively have been up and down this season. Last week, obviously, down against Northfield, but they played well defensively against Holy Family. And that's a line drive kick. It's going to take 2 hops, and Lopez will let it go across the 40-yard line. It's going to be down at the 39. Pretty good punt there with a roll of 47 yards. Mustangs with good field position. We have 4:34 to go in the opening quarter. No score. Did we think that this quarter could go an entire 12 minutes without anybody scoring? I think the answer is definitely no, but it could happen.
Yep. And I think Lutheran's going to have to just figure out how to get ahead of the markers on the run game and stay with the run game, because I don't think their pass game is going to save them at all
Well,
tonight.
they don't have their starting quarterback.
Right.
They're on the road. It's a cold weather game. That changes the dynamic of a football game as well, especially when you're, 5 or 6 degrees above freezing. 1st and 10 for the Mustangs at their own 39-yard line on the right hash mark. This time the running back is to the left of the quarterback Marquez. Shotgun formation. Awaits the snap. There it is. Marquez looking to throw. Slant is dropped by Lopez at the 47. Yeah, I don't think it was broken up there. I mean, Ciccio was there, and he's kind of favoring his right hand. But that ball's got to be caught.
Yeah.
That's just frustrating when you see a good throw like that. You see an excellent throw, Kevin, and it's just botched.
Right. It was maybe a touch high. He had to bring his hands up right at his face, but you're right. Ball's thrown there. You got to bring that in. You got to help your quarterback out, because now we got a 2nd and 10 instead of a 3rd and 5.
Or maybe a second and 2 or 3. That would have helped very nicely, but we'll see. If they can pick up 3 or 4 yards, it'll be manageable. Second down and 10 to go for their own 39. Back to the pistol formation. One receiver split out to each side. Play clock about to hit 5. In motion to the left is Lopez. Handoff up the middle, and forget it. David Keller is going to be swallowed up by a couple of Lutheran Lions, including Dylan Griffin, a 5'11", 185-pound senior, a loss of 3 back to the 36. And that's what happens when you don't complete the pass. Then you really can't even set up the run. I mean, you got to do one or the other, Brian. You either set up the run with the pass or vice versa.
Yeah, when they're not completing the passes, then they just put everybody up in the box, and then you're having to try to run against 8 or 9 guys, and you just don't have enough to block.
Third down and 13 to go from their own 36-yard line. First quarter brought to you by Stubbs Gas and Oil off I-76 and exit 66A in Wiggins. They have it all. Back to the pistol on third down and 13 for the 36. J.J. Marquez. They're taking a long time to get these snaps off. Now it's a naked backfield, 2 receivers to the right. Keller is back to throw. Deep drop sets. Throws deep over the middle. That's going to be incomplete. Well defended was Johnson at the 35-yard line by Whistler. There is a flag down, but you would assume that's got to be on Fort Morgan. It's thrown near the right side of the offensive line, and it's going to be a hold against the Mustangs. It'll be declined, and Reading will punt. Marquez at 0 for 2 now, and here comes Reading onto the field. Still scoreless with 3:28 to go. See, that's a big failure on that drive. You took up just 1 minute.
Yeah.
If you want to, you have to shorten the game. But I'm not saying that's a coaching error. That's the deal, is that pass has to be caught by Lopez. That would chewed up at least 30 or 40 more seconds off the clock. And Charlie Langford was definitely offsides there. He took off way too early. That's going to be a false start against Fort Morgan.
And hopefully Fort Morgan doesn't start getting the mistakes now.
Well, Kevin, I think you can sense once they score first, it's the domino effect.
Mm-hmm.
If Lutheran scores first, that's when you start to worry that hopefully the game will not get out of hand.
So far, Fort Morgan can be proud of their effort out there. They've played hard and pretty much mistake-free.
And that is not a good punt off the side of his foot. It'll bounce at the 50-yard line and go out of bounds. That might be the worst punt Reading's had all season, and he's been very good. But that went for just 20 yards unless they backtrack it to the 50. A 19-yard punt for Chase Reading. And great field position for Lutheran. Yeah, a normal Chase Reading punt, that ball's back at the 20 or 25-yard line. But you can't be great every time. He's been so good all season. First and 10 for Lutheran at midfield. No score. This is already their third possession of the game, if I've got that correct.
I think so.
2 receivers split out to each side. Same formation. They haven't altered from that formation. This will be a quarterback keeper, and running right into David Keller is Sorensen for a gain of a couple. Off to the right side, second down and 8. Sorensen's first carry. But now you realize how critical a starting quarterback is to this offense.
Yeah, that's for sure.
One of the offensive linemen, the right guard for Lutheran's a little gimpy after that play. We'll have to keep an eye on that.
Second down and 8 to go for Lutheran at the Mustang 48-yard line. Awaiting the snap as Sorensen has it. Back to throw, middle of the pocket, deep along the left sideline. CCO's out there, incomplete.
Yep.
And there's going to be pass interference. Charlie Langford didn't turn around in time. And looked like CCO and Langford might be jawing a little bit, but that will be against Langford. It was thrown on the outside shoulder. Had Charlie turned around, he could have broken it up, but instead it'll be a 15-yard penalty. And that's emblematic of the first quarter. Penalties called all over the place. And Lutheran will have the ball at the Mustang 33-yard line, and that clearly appeared to be an excellent call by the official.
Oh, yeah, it looked like he was almost tackling him, so.
Yeah, it was unfortunate that I think if that ball would have been thrown a little bit farther, it would have been an easy touchdown, but because it was thrown a little short, the receiver had to slow down, and Charlie didn't have any choice but to run over the top of him.
Well, the coaches are going to rely on the athleticism of Charlie Langford, because normally a receiver that good, you double cover him. Direct snap. Sorensen to his right, tackle from behind after a gain of 2 to the 31. That's an excellent play by Fort Morgan's Dominic Vasquez, only a sophomore. Second down and 8 yards to go for the Mustang 31. Second carry there for Sorensen. Inside of 2 minutes and 20 seconds to go in the opening quarter. No score between Fort Morgan and Lutheran from Legion Field on a crispy cold night. From the 31. Right hash mark. Play action. Rolling out Sorensen, stepping up, sacked back at the 33-yard line. Tremendous pressure there, provided once again by Chase Redding. Boy, Chase Redding's had 2 sacks in this game, and that's another sack, and that's why they're going to take a chance single covering the receiver so they send more pressure.
Right, especially with the backup quarterback. He's not as cool in the pocket and doesn't know where to go on the quick plays.
Well, and so far he's been unable to elude the pressure the Mustangs have put on him.
Yeah, he tries to run up in the pocket, but they're just collapsing on him, and Redding came in from the backside that time.
Third down and 10 to go for the Mustang 33. 4 down territory. 3 receivers to the left, 1 to the right. Here comes a blitz. Bubble screen is caught out in the left by Joe Ciccio, and he gets by Langford, and he's near a first down, taken out of bounds. Let's see. Oh, no, he did not get it. He was out of bounds at about the 26. A gain of 7. Unofficially, that's his second catch. And so far, Sorensen is 4 to 4 for 32 yards. They're up to the line of scrimmage. 4th down and 3. Mustangs have to be disciplined defensively. Handoff in the middle. First down to the 20. That's Ryan Kenny. Oh, man, that threw Fort Morgan off a gain of 6. And the drive continues for the Lions. That quick snap certainly did help. Fort Morgan wasn't completely ready. Left hash mark in the red zone from the 20-yard line. There's the screen out, caught to the left. And across the 15 to about the 14. And that's going to be the third receiver, Michael Lopez. I thought it was Lopez. Yeah, that's Lopez. That's not Kenny who made the catch.
And that was about 3 inches away from a Fort Morgan defender getting that and heading back down the other way.
It was very close. 2nd down and 4 to go for the Mustang 14-yard line. In the waning moments of the opening quarter, 34 seconds to go. And no score. Chase Sorensen barking out the signals. Has the football. Play action. Slant is going to be incomplete. Oh, they're going to look for a flag there. No, Johnson defended it nicely there on Michael Lopez at the 2-yard line. But that was close. That's the first incompletion thrown by Sorensen. 3rd down and 4 to go for the Lions.
Yeah, Johnson had him played just right. And no pass interference, came right around and knocked that ball down. That was great defense there by Johnson.
Yeah, phenomenal defense. On 3rd down and 4, 2 receivers to the left and right sides. Kenny, the lone setback. I think this is going to be a running play. Let's see if Kenny gets it on the 3rd and 4. It will be a handoff to Kenny, stutter stepping, and he's grabbed around the ankle and taken down at the line of scrimmage. Noah Aguirre would not let him go, and it's no gain. 4th down and 4.
So you guys were pretty sure that they weren't going to throw the fade into the back of the end zone like last year?
Yeah. Oh, my God. Yeah. Well, let's see if they get this play off. 2 seconds, 1 second. Do they get it off? No, that's the end of the opening quarter. With the score from Legion Field on senior night. Fort Morgan nothing, Lutheran nothing. Back in 1 minute on B106 and the Eastern Plains Sports Network. Along with Brian Nickel and Kevin Rohde, I'm John Beltran. 4th down and a short 4 to go for Lutheran as we start the second quarter. No score from Legion Field on senior night. Big play for the Lions. Ryan Kenny in that backfield to the left of the quarterback in a shotgun formation, 5 yards behind center. Fort Morgan has done tremendous defensively so far. On 4th down, Kenny with a handoff. He's going to go nowhere. He's taken down behind the line of scrimmage at the 15-yard line. The blocking was not there, and about 4 Mustangs were. It's a loss of 1, and Fort Morgan takes over at their own 15-yard line. And, gentlemen, let's face it. Let's label this what it really is for Fort Morgan. In 2022, this is Fort Morgan State Championship game.
Yeah,
I mean, think about it.
Yeah, you're right. Fort Morgan, all they have to play for is pride right now, and that's a lot for these kids who've come up through the system at Fort Morgan High School.
it's already a victory that it's a 0-0 game in the second quarter.
Yep.
And Kenny is not easy to stop, but I think Kenny got one of those two carries, either a direct snap. Remember that third down? I think he got one of the two last year when Fort Morgan made two plays.
Oh, yeah.
From the gun here, J.J. Marquez on 1st and 10 from his own 15-yard line. And no, that's going to be a direct snap to Keller, but he's going to lose yardage back to the 11. A little bit of a wildcat formation that went nowhere for Fort Morgan. Keller thrown for a loss of, I'll say, 3 instead of 4 yards. David Keller right now has 5 carries for a negative 5 yards. Yeah, they're going to have to pass.
Yeah. And they got to catch the ball when they do.
And they have to, exactly. Gabriel Bosworth is the receiver to the left on 2nd down and 13 from their own, 13-yard line. Yeah, they got to get to the 26. Again, that is Keller awaiting the direct snap. Has it, runs to his left. I mean, there's nobody blocking anybody. There's a flag down, and Keller was taken down for a loss again. Now let's see if somebody was offsides, encroachment perhaps against Lutheran, because that was pretty quick.
Yep, and then the referee threw one in the backfield, too. I'm not sure what that was. I don't know if there was unnecessary roughness or what it was on Keller.
Well, he was thrown down at about the 10-yard line, but
They're playing against Fort Morgan.
I mean, how could they have committed a penalty on a play that was over in a split second?
Yeah.
But if that's the case, Keller's going to go for more negative yardage. Still looking for the indication. Now I see them pointing towards Lutheran's side, but I'm not sure why. Now they're walking Fort Morgan back, so they're going to take the penalty and not the play? Or is that a dead ball foul? Yeah, false start's a dead ball foul, so no play.
And then dead ball.
And then personal foul against Lutheran.
Oh,
wow.
Something happened against Keller when they tackled him back there. It didn't show face mask, but something happened there.
Yeah, some frustration on this Lutheran team that probably thought they'd been running clock at this point.
Well, that'd be an early running clock. But you know what? Nothing's impossible.
Well, I'm just saying that's their mentality.
Oh, no.
Possibly. I don't want to project because I don't know. But
no, you're right. You're right.
Yeah, they're frustrated because the game's not going the way they thought it was going to go.
No. In fact, it's only 2nd down and 3 for the Mustangs at their own 22. So 5 yards backwards for Fort Morgan, then 15 yards forwards in favor of Fort Morgan. At the 22-yard line at the opening minute of quarter number 2, no score. A shocking result so far. Marquez looking to throw, steps up deep along the right side. That's underthrown and knocked down by Whistler. That was a wounded duck at the 50-yard line, and Johnson, who's an excellent receiver, the leading receiver in the Mustangs this season, had absolutely no shot. And I guess they're figuring, you know what, 2nd and short, go for the home run. But at this point, get first downs and shorten the game.
Yeah, I'm not sure that Johnson didn't knock that ball down.
Yeah,
I think he became the defender on that one.
I'd like to see him, have Johnson go down 15 yards and then stop and come back, because they're all worried about him going deep on him. They're all playing him deep. He'd be wide open for a nice 10-yard catch.
From the gun on 3rd down and 3 for the 22-yard line. Here comes Lutheran on a blitz. Handoff to Keller. Nope, it's going to be kept by the quarterback Marquez. He fumbles and Lutheran recovers at the 15-yard line. I think Cicio might have recovered it. And that's going to be not only a big loss, but the first turnover of the game, and Lutheran already knocking on the door at the Mustang 15-yard line, and that's the play that could completely change the momentum of this game.
And Marquez is on the sideline getting his right arm looked at. Looks like he's pretty sore down there too.
Yeah, he's just not getting any time whatsoever. That offensive line is getting beat every time.
10:35 to go, second quarter. 1st and 10 for the Lions. They're at the Mustang 15-yard line. Chase Sorensen has had success through the air. He's 5 out of 6 for 38 yards. But Lutheran has not scored yet, not in their first 3 possessions. Kenny to the right of the quarterback. Sorensen, play action, slant, caught, touchdown. Sam Whistler, 15 yards and a perfect pass. And he beat the Mustang defender on the inside at 6-0 Lutheran. 1 minute plus into the second quarter.
Yeah, he was one-on-one out there, and he just cut inside on him out there and That was a beautiful pass, though, by Sorensen.
That's very hard to defend. Extremely hard to defend. Now the extra point to be attempted by Samuel Smolin, who is a junior, 6'1", 180. Snap is there, the kick is up, and the line drive is good. 10:31 to go, second quarter. Lutheran 7, Fort Morgan nothing on B106 and the Eastern Plains Sports Network. One play, 15 yards, the pass from Chase Sorensen to Sam Whistler off the Mustang turnover. And now Lutheran to kick it off. Let's see if they have a different kicker. Or is it going to be the same guy? No, it's Smolin. Yeah, Lutheran's anticipating a few kickoffs tonight.
Marcus getting a few extra snaps, shaking that right arm. Hopefully it's going to be okay.
Yeah, he took a hit. I mean, nobody touched David Keller. They knew that Marquez, it's almost like they knew the play.
Yep.
Let's see, this almost, is he going to pooch this thing? Yeah, that is a little pooch along the sideline, fielded by Langford at the 32. Running to his right, he's going to lose some yardage here if he can't get around a defender, and he gets to maybe the 33-yard line. That is it. A lot of lateral running to his right by Charlie Langford, and he was eaten up right there by Samuel Perkins, a 5'10", 150-pound junior. And let's see if Fort Morgan can get a first down or two, trailing 7-0 early in the second quarter.
Yeah, see if they can move the ball here. They have had no luck so far.
Well, the passing game is non-existent. Marquez is 0 for 3. Actually, the Mustangs right now have negative 5 yards of total offense.
They just don't. The offensive line is just not standing up to the defensive line, and the linebackers coming in on them.
Yeah, I mean, they're coming with a blitz, and they got 4 or 5 up to the line of scrimmage. It's going to be tough. That's why they have 2 receivers now to the left, 1 to the right, naked backfield. Coming through the middle, Marquez slant. The pass is going to be underthrown, incomplete, intended for Johnson at the 39-yard line. Had to get rid of it quickly. There is a flag down. Did a Mustang take? No, Mustang probably didn't take off too early.
Yes, an illegal formation or
shift. That would be it. It's just crazy with all the flags that have been thrown in the early going. Not only in the second quarter, but obviously in the opening quarter as well. Yep, it's an illegal formation against Fort Morgan. One thing is throwing the flags. Every time there's a flag thrown, it seems like it takes 2 minutes to make the call.
Usually they'll give you a preliminary sign, but this guy did wander around out there for 15 or 20 seconds, then you'll finally get him.
Yeah, it's insufferable to watch. First down and 15 to go for the 27. Check it, the 28-yard line. 7-0 Lutheran on a 15-yard touchdown pass from Whistler. Or check that, from Sorensen to Whistler. From the pistol. The Mustangs have had 1 6-yard run by Keller, by far their best offensive play. In motion to the left is Lopez. Hand off to Keller. And there's a flag down immediately, and he's down after a gain of a couple.
That'll be a hold.
Yeah, and it was a clear hold. And I'm sure the officials don't want to throw the flag, but the gain of 1.5 is nullified.
Let's see if they. I would think they would decline it.
Oh, no, they're going to take that penalty. I think they're going to take that, Brian.
We'll see what
Make it a first and about 20-something.
Yeah.
Well, because they know that right now, with Lutheran's offense being a little bit inconsistent, their defense is part of their offense. Mustangs have to get to the 33-yard line.
And the farther the offense has to go to get a first, the more chances they have to take to kind of do that, and more opportunities you have to take advantage of that.
Yeah, exactly. To the 43. Actually, original line of scrimmage is the 33. It's first down and 24 to go for the Mustangs at their own 19-yard line. 2 receivers to the left, 1 to the right. Marquez, 2-step drop. Heaves it deep along the right sideline. The ball is broken up. Batted down by Whistler at the 45, intended for Lopez. And I like the fact he's getting rid of the ball quickly there. but it's still a low percentage play. But the reason they're going for it is because it's one-on-one coverage.
Yeah, they're trying to isolate him out there, but right now Marquez isn't getting it that far down the field. I think that arm's giving him a little bit of problem. Like Kevin said, he's been shaking it after the sack back there. So, what?
Do we have another penalty? Was that roughing the passer? Let's see if they'll call this again. That might be a roughing the passer penalty, placing the ball at the 34, which would set up a 2nd down and 9.
Well,
I have to tell you, I'm going to say it right now. This is some of the worst football we've ever seen. I mean, anytime there's this much laundry on the field.
yeah.
I'm wondering whether the penalty yardage is going to add up to more than both teams' offense at this point.
Yeah.
It's going to be a lot more than Fort Morgan's offense, that's for sure. 2nd down and 9 to go at the 34. We never saw the penalty flag. Now I'm sorry, it is a 1st and 9. That's right, it was a 1st and 24. Now to a 1st and 9. That was not a post-play penalty. It was on the actual play. 7-0 Lutheran. We have 9:49 to go. We had a 26-minute first quarter in real time. This one's going to take a lot longer unless the clock starts rolling more consistently at some point. At the 34-yard line. Pistol formation, which means Keller is right behind Marquez. Aguirre realigns to the left as an extra blocker. Handoff to Keller, left side, has a small seam, and he gets back to maybe the 34. No gain. Perhaps even a loss of half a yard. 2nd down, and we'll call it 10 yards to go for Fort Morgan. Marquez has thrown 4 passes, and Keller's run it 6 times. That's it. Then you had the fumble by Marquez. So Fort Morgan has run 11 offensive plays. Feels like they've run more, but that's it.
That's 10 that have counted.
Right.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, right.
Yep.
2nd down and 10. Marquez, play action, rolls out to his left. Jump pass is going to be caught underneath and then hammered after a short gain of about 4 or 5 yards is Noah Aguirre. He took a shot at the 37-yard line. And even with that shot, it's only a gain of 3. That defense for Lutheran is right on top of you. But at least Fort Morgan was able to generate some positive yardage in the first completion of the game for J.J. Marquez.
Yeah, that's the only way they're going to get him any type of time is him rolling out. And then he was being run down.
3rd down and 7 to go for the 37-yard line. They're lining up on the left hash mark. And again, trying to isolate their offensive players. But Lutheran has got every single person covered on every play. Trips to the right. Naked backfield. Marquez, quick drop. Slant is going to be incomplete. It was thrown behind Lopez at the 46 and nearly picked up by Trey Ciccio. 4th down. And again, a well-constructed play, just not well executed.
Right, and that was definitely not the receiver's fault. It was thrown behind him, and the defensive guy had the best chance at it.
Yeah, Lopez ran an excellent pattern there, Brian.
Oh, yeah. He was there, just that J.J. just didn't quite have the time or wasn't accurate with it.
Well, that's why he's getting rid of the ball quickly, just to create more time. There's a snap to Redding. He gets it off. Much better punt. Fluttering. Whistler lets it bounce at the 26. Fields it at the 21. Runs to his right, and he's chased down from behind by Langford at the 25-yard line. That's a good-looking punt of 44 yards and a 5-yard return. And Lutheran has it. Their 5th possession. 7:55 remaining second quarter. It's Lutheran 7, Fort Morgan nothing. As Dominic Vasquez checks in for the Mustangs. Only a sophomore, but he's made his presence known, and now Lutheran might have taken the game's first time out, and they did. Well, this is the final game of the regular season. We'll be back with you for basketball. A couple of league games coming up in December. The Fort Morgan Brush game is always in December as well. And Brian and I will be calling those games throughout the course of the 2022-2023 season. And as for Mustang football, I mean, it's not a state championship. It's not even close, but 3 wins. And quite frankly, their best game of the season might have been the loss to Holy Family. I mean, you had the bad start in there, and then you had another stretch they didn't play too well, but there was a big stretch in that game that I thought Fort Morgan played really well.
Yeah, I think if they could have finished in the red zone like 2 or 3 of those times, it would have been a 1-score game, and who knows what would have happened.
Lutheran has it at their own 26-yard line, 1st and 10. Let's see if they decide to go deep, because the passing yardage so far, 12, 10, 3, 7, 6, and 15 yards.
Yeah, but remember, Fort Morgan's putting a lot of pressure on him, and he's not been able to get that deep ball out
Exactly, yeah. And that's because of the single coverage. So you send up more, and I think that's a great scheme by the Mustangs defensively. High snap, and there's an errant handoff, and thrown for a loss is Cicio. Angel Lopez brought him down in the backfield for a huge loss to the 17-yard line. A loss of 9. And that looked a little bit out of sorts as well. But the Mustangs will take it, 2nd down and 19 to go. I'm impressed by Josh Langford's defensive scheme in this game. Has been very good.
Yeah, he always does a good job. And it looked like Lopez knew what was coming. Did you see him run up?
Right.
He ran up to that line of scrimmage just before it went off, and he knew what was coming.
Yeah, you study that film enough, you can predict what's going to happen.
3 receivers to the right, 1 to the left. Man in motion to the left on 2nd down and 19. Back to throw Sorensen. Steps up. Pressure coming from the right side. And he evades a tackler. And now Aguirre brings him down and he throws it away. I think he's going to call grounding or a sack at the 8-yard line. It looked like a knee was down. There was nobody out there. They're going to call that an incomplete pass. No, that should be a sack. Yeah. That should be a sack. His right knee was down anyway. And that'll be a loss of 8 yards back to the 9.
Wow.
Didn't we have a 3rd and 40, and this time they've got to get to the 36. It's going to be 3rd down and 27. Fort Morgan's got 3 sacks unofficially tonight. And, you know, the one thing, I haven't seen a safety valve for Lutheran. You know, like a running back underneath. They're sending everybody deep. 3rd down and 27. At his own goal line, Sorensen steps up. Pressure coming. Throws on the run. It's caught, but well short of a 1st down at the 19-yard line. That's Whistler who had the touchdown. It's a gain of 10, but it's 4th down and 17. And they will have to punt.
Yeah, they were just playing back off of him, just let him throw that pass in front of him. Once Whistler caught it, Langford was in his back pocket.
This is Lutheran's first punt of the game despite 5 possessions. Low snap. And that is a line drive that's going to be fielded by Langford at the 43. Stutter stepping to the 45. Breaks out of a tackle, but then 2 or 3 Lions converge in on Langford at the 47-yard line. Punt went for 38 yards, 4 in the return. 5:37 to go. I know it's a pipe dream, but if Lutheran got the ball back with less than a minute to go, that'd be great. But you got to pick up at least a 1st down or 2 to make that happen.
Well, it'd be nice for Fort Morgan to get into Lutheran territory. I don't know if they've crossed the midline yet.
Well, this is certainly their best field position, starting field position at the 47. Halftime features coming up. Another special halftime feature. This will be the last one, obviously, of the season. Lutheran 7, Fort Morgan nothing. A 15-yard touchdown pass from Sorensen to Whistler in the opening 90 seconds of the 2nd quarter. Lopez in motion to the right. Marquez to throw deep in the pocket. Deep towards Keller. It's going to be tipped and intercepted. It's intercepted by Smallland at the 35. Snaps out of a tackle along the left sideline, and Lopez is going to get him out of bounds at around the 34. And Angel Lopez getting up slowly, but that was a severely underthrown football there by J.J. Marquez. Keller was open momentarily, but you've got to release that a lot quicker because the safety came over and picked it off in a return of about 25 yards. And Lutheran now trying to take advantage of Fort Morgan's 2nd turnover.
Yeah, last time Fort Morgan turned it over, they scored on the first play.
Well, that'll be a lot tougher to do considering where the ball's at the Fort Morgan 33-yard line.
And JJ, just his arm's got to be bothering him. He's thrown better than that this year.
He has no strength on that arm right now. He does look hurt. He does look hurt. but I guess he's the only option right now.
Yeah.
All the more reason to go with the shorter passing game.
Exactly. 1st and 10, naked backfield. Sorensen is going to run to his right. He's got a seam to the 30. Cuts it back to the inside, short of a first down, but he's got some nice yardage to the 25-yard line for the quarterback from Lutheran High School. It's a gain of 8. His third carry for 12 yards now, 2nd down and 2. Right up to the line of scrimmage, trying to keep the Mustang defense off balance. 5 minutes to go. Second quarter. Sorensen this time will take it, run to his left. He's got a first down to the 20, and he's tackled it around the 14-yard line. Another solid run there by Sorensen. Aguirre and Lopez in on the play. It's a gain of 12 for Sorensen. Again, quickly. Yeah, they're trying to hurry up this offense from the 13. Sorensen to his right. Stutter steps back towards the middle. Breaks out of a tackle. He's inside the 10 to maybe the 8-yard line.
And they're just running left to right. They're just running the same play over and over. One side, one to the left side, one to the right side.
Gain of 6. That ball's at the 7-yard line. They're not wasting any time. On 2nd down, and a long 4 to go, just shy of the 7. This time they will catch their breath. Ryan Kenny in the backfield. Sorensen might give it to Kenny here because Sorensen's got to be tired. He just carried the ball 3 times in a row. Play clock is running down a bit. On 2nd down, Sorensen play action, looking. Throw is going to be incomplete. A diving attempt at the end zone for Joe Cicio on a low throw. He was open, but it's 3rd down and a long 4 to go for Lutheran.
So you run 3 plays, and you gain like 8 to 12 yards per play, and then you pass.
I'm with you.
Maybe make them stop you before you switch to the pass. I don't know.
I'm totally with you. I didn't understand that, but again, if that play's executed, it's a touchdown.
Yep.
On 3rd down and 4 from the 7-yard line. Naked backfield. Sorensen back to throw. Pressure up the middle. Throws as he's hit. Incomplete. Oh, the Mustangs were all over him. Chase Redding and Colin Duckworth laid him flat on his back at the 18-yard line. 4th down, and it looks like Lutheran will be attempting a field goal. Kevin, that goes back to your point. Why did you pass on a 2nd down?
Yeah. I don't know. You know, sometimes you get too fancy, and you talked about how if they would have executed that pass, it would have been a touchdown. Every single play you draw up is going to score a touchdown if you execute it.
Yep.
Samuel Smolin will attempt the field goal from 24 yards, and that kick is a line drive that is good inside the left upright. 3:58 to go, 2nd quarter on senior night. Lutheran 10, Fort Morgan nothing on B106 and the Eastern Plains Sports Network. 26-yard drive resulting in a 24-yard field goal by Samuel Smolin, and Lutheran leads Fort Morgan 10-0. And if the Mustangs were turnover free, we might not be saying 10-0.
Yeah, I don't think anyone would have imagined that possibly at half the only 2 scores Lutheran would have were off turnovers in Fort Morgan's territory.
How do you generate offense? So this will be pooched in the middle, and it's fielded at the 31-yard line. That's Langford running to his right to the 35. He's spun down at the 38-yard line. A return of 7. The hit was made by Samuel Perkins. And now Fort Morgan, with all 3 timeouts remaining, under 4 minutes to go in the opening quarter, opening half, I should say, have the football once again.
See if Lutheran calls any timeouts, if Fort Morgan can't get any offense going here.
Yeah, even if Fort Morgan could throw a screen or something to slow down that pass rush, might help.
38 degrees at kickoff, and we're at 33 right now, so the temperature dropping quickly in a span of 1 hour. 1st and 10 for Fort Morgan at their own 39-yard line, trailing 10-0 from the pistol. Now it's just a shotgun formation. Nobody in the backfield. Keller, the receiver, to the right. 2 to the left. Marquez, deep drop, has protection. Deep over the middle. That's going to be picked off by Joe Cicio at the 42-yard line. Keller was the intended receiver again, or did he drop it? I guess it was knocked from behind, but he had it in his hands. And we have another flag
On the other side.
Well, it's not going to be roughing because
Illegal
Marquez was not hit. Well, again, I'm going to go back to Kevin's point. You got to throw it short now. I mean, this is turning into something that shouldn't be taking place. That is the illegal formation. It'll be 1st and 15 at the 34-yard line. Forget about arm strength. Those aren't even spirals JJ's throwing. I mean, there's no way he could be close to 100% healthy because those passes are awful.
And he's thrown into triple coverage. Both times they threw that interception, kind of the same area of the field. There were 3 defenders there.
Yeah. I mean, like Brian said, he's thrown a lot better this season. On first down and 15 from the 34. Low snap. It's on the ground. Marquez picks it up. He'll take off with the ball, and he's down for a loss of 1. 2nd down and 16 to go. Lutheran might be taking a timeout at some point so they get the ball back, but there's still plenty of time to go here. We're in the 3+ minute range in the second quarter. Well, he got back to the line of scrimmage. But a 2nd down and 15. Again, the story of the game, the 2 turnovers, and Fort Morgan right now has -3 yards of total offense. That's it. On 2nd down, JJ, again, back to throw, sets, pressure coming, throws off his back foot, complete to Johnson at the 45. He breaks loose, just short of a 1st down. Well, he might have spun for a 1st down. That's going to be a very generous spot at the 50-yard line. By far the biggest play. It's a gain of 16. But I'm telling you, he was stopped about a yard and a half shorter than that. But the Mustangs will get the 1st down.
Well, he came down on top of the receiver and then rolled and first made contact with the ground. At least that's what the officials are calling.
Yeah, that makes sense. 1st down at midfield. Now let's see if it loosens it up for the running game. But you've got 5 up in the box for Lutheran. Handoff to Keller up the middle. And he's down after a loss of 1. Initial penetration comes from Josh Ayers, a 6'2", 210-pound senior middle linebacker. David Keller's last 5 carries have gone for negative yardage.
I don't know about you guys, and it's got to be an optical illusion, but it appears to me that there's about twice as many Lutheran players out there that there's Fort Morgan players.
Well, they're bigger. Look how big they are.
Yeah, they're just, every hole is plugged that they're trying to run through.
2nd down and 11. There's 6 up at the line of scrimmage. There's the pitch left to Keller. Can he swing it to the outside? No, he's tackled from behind. He tried to cut it towards the middle, but he actually got 2 or 3 yards. Man, if he could have snapped out of that tackle, he'd still be going. It's a gain of 3. The first positive yardage for Keller since the opening quarter, under 2 minutes to go. First half, it's Lutheran 10, Fort Morgan nothing. Langford and Johnson, receivers to the right. It'll be 3rd down and 8 to go for Fort Morgan at the 48-yard line. Naked backfield. Quick drop. Marquez on the slant. It's caught. Nope. Broken up. I thought he had it for a second. Did Johnson at the 44. Incomplete. Again, a well-designed play. Kevin, I think that's the play you're talking about. Something short.
Right. At least get 3-4 yards. And
he was mad at himself. He knew he should have had it. Fort Morgan looks like they're going to go for it, huh?
I don't know why. You got to kick this away. I think the defense is good enough. They could force a turnover.
Yeah, right. They're talking about it.
Yeah, I think maybe they'll take a delay of game penalty or something. You can't go for it here.
No.
I mean, their chances of scoring in the entire game are very minimal because Lutheran's just too good on defense. Fort Morgan doesn't match up well. Now they'll call a timeout. But I think this is a must-punt situation. I mean, if we would have said 10-0 at halftime, say, that's a great game.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's a great start.
Yeah, I don't think going for it at this point, 4th and 7, when you still have not made positive yardage for the game, makes any sense whatsoever, other than you want to give them a short field to score in the last 2 minutes.
Well, let's see what happens here. I'm sorry, Brian.
A minute and 11 left in the first half, so then we can. But their best weapons tonight so far has been running, and then they decide they're going to throw the ball when they get down close, and it doesn't work. But they did score a touchdown with that one pass. That was about a 15-yard pass,
right,
to Sam Whistler.
Yep.
For over 100 years, Premier Farm Credit has been providing affordable, reliable, and consistent credit. Visit premieraca.com, and they will punt with 1:11 to go. And is this a late? Oh, yeah, they're going to add a 12th man on there. They don't need a 12th there for Lutheran.
Yep.
At their own 39-yard line is where Reading is standing. A very high punt along the sideline. That's a great punt. Bounces at the 10. It goes into the end zone. The Mustangs didn't see it. They could have gone down there to down that inside the 10 easily. But unfortunately, it's a 48-yard punt with only a net of 20. And let's see what Lutheran decides to do. Are they going to try to push the ball down the field with a 10-0 lead with 62 seconds to go in the opening half? But it's the right decision. You punt that ball away. You got to punt it away.
Yep, we'll see what they come out with. Their passing game hasn't been that spectacular, so we'll see what they do.
1st and 10 from the 20. Two receivers split out each side. Sorensen back to throw, sets deep over the middle. The pass is going to be incomplete, broken up by Langford just beyond midfield, intended for Cicio. Great coverage. And that was another wounded duck, but this time it was thrown by Sorensen.
I didn't see who was in there, but he was hit about the time that ball came out. That's why that was fluttering like that.
Sorensen was 5 out of 5 for 38 yards. And now in his last 6 passes, 2 out of 6 for 25. Fort Morgan's adjusted well. On 2nd down, screen out to the right is caught underneath and trying to make a move to the inside and gaining some yardage to the 26. That's a fresh receiver. And that looks like Josh Ayers.
What was that flag about?
Oh, boy.
I don't know, 58 was pushing on someone way down the field. And
we'll find out.
Oh, and then Fort Morgan must have popped off and said something to him.
That's just too bad.
Yep.
I mean,
we're gonna find out here. Chase Redding's coming out, so.
Well, I mean, you're still in this game. You are still in this game. You got to be disciplined. They're under a minute to go. It's going to be 1st and 10 at the 40-yard line for Lutheran. You keep this at 10-0. Again, to spring an upset is going to be very difficult, but you feel, hey, we're in this game. 17-0, different story. Sorensen at the 40. Back to throw. Pressure coming up the middle. The block is made. The deep pass over the middle is going to be incomplete at the 19-yard line. And the receiver, Lopez, got ahead of the Mustang defense, but he could not haul it in. It's 2nd down. The ball hung there for a long time.
Yeah, he had to switch and look over his other shoulder, and he just kind of lost it there at the last minute.
I think it was Yanez that was on the coverage.
On 2nd and 10 from the 40. The clock now reads 34.9 seconds to go. Lutheran still has, I believe, 2 timeouts remaining. On their own side of the field. They're looking for that one big play so they can call another timeout. Sorensen, bubble screen to the incomplete. Oh, to the left. That was thrown ahead of the receiver. I think that Tegan McNellis was anticipating it would throw him directly instead of leading him.
Yep.
And it went into the Fort Morgan bench. And again, Sorensen has really tailed off here. His last 6 passes, 1 completion for 6 yards. 3rd down and 10.
Yeah, their passing game is not what it has been all year, but that's because their starting quarterback's not playing.
On 3rd and 10, Mustangs with a blitz. The ball is bobbled. It's on the ground. He picks it up, and Sorensen's going to work his way out of traffic to the 45-yard line along the left sideline. Flags down at the 50-yard line. This one's coming back. It's a gain of 10. Yep. Sorry, Brian.
Blindside block.
And it looked like Ryan Kenny might have made that blindside block.
And even the coaches up here in the booth, we could hear them from our booth.
Yeah.
Weren't happy with that, yelling, no, no, no.
Oh, they're going to wave it off.
Wow. Well, and I think he went out of bounds. Well, why they should move that football near midfield then.
Yep.
And Sorensen would pick up a 1st down just beyond midfield. a gain of 12. Sorensen's actually run the ball pretty well. He's got 42 yards on 6 carries. 20.9 seconds to go. I think the best they could do is get into field goal range, but he stopped in bounds. The clock is running, and now are they stopping the clock? Hold on, what's happening here? It was restarted by the main official. I don't know if he went out of bounds or not. I thought he did.
You know, and the coach over there is holding his hand up like he wants to reset the play clock. It doesn't matter if the clock's going to run regardless, unless you call a timeout.
I think the Fort Morgan coaches were wondering why they picked up the flag, I think was part of it. So,
all right, 17.9 to go, but did Fort Morgan call that timeout? Because the timeout was called here by the official near the sideline. I guess you want to set up defensively, make sure you've got everything covered. But running the clock doesn't benefit Lutheran. It benefits Fort Morgan.
yeah.
So they might have done Lutheran a favor there. Either way, and they're not adding time to the clock, Brian, unless you've seen something. I think it's still 17 points.
Put 19 seconds.
Okay, so they did put some time back on because it was under 18. Somebody called a timeout. I'm not going to assume it's Fort Morgan anymore. But it was called by the official right in front of the Fort Morgan bench. The ball's at the 48-yard line. We'll get to our post-game show. How about our halftime show?
Post first half show.
Yeah, thank you, Kevin. Somebody's got to clean up my act. Jeez. I like that better. The post first half. I mean, what am I saying? I'm not even listening to what I'm saying anymore. All right, so here we go. At the 48-yard line. Officially, like Brian said, 19 seconds even to go, 19.0. 2 receivers split out to the left, 2 to the right. Sorensen is going to roll out to his right. He's got plenty of protection. Sets. Heaves it deep along the right sideline. There's going to be pass interference at the 9-yard line as Joe Ciccio was tackled essentially by Elvin Yanez. The only benefit for Fort Morgan there is that it's down to 11 seconds to go, and the ball will be at the 33-yard line. But that was underthrown, had no chance really of being complete. But the defender never turned around.
No.
And it's high school rules where it's 15 yards. It's not placed at the spot, so it's really a good defensive play.
You're right. It's not a bet because of the clock.
I mean, he was completely beat, and so in his mind is if he didn't do that, they were going to score or catch the ball down there.
Lutheran's going to call a timeout or Fort Morgan instead.
Yep.
Okay, they want to set up the defense. Coach Langford doesn't want that defense burned, knowing they have played so well. Lutheran has not scored a point in this half unless Fort Morgan has set that up with a turnover.
Yep.
The first one was a fumble by Marquez, 15-yard touchdown pass from Sorensen to Sam Whistler. In fact, I'm going to start doing some numbers now as we get to the halftime show momentarily. Or, sorry, Kevin, the post-first half show, which I love that.
Right, and I think, really Lutheran's kind of in a tough spot if they don't throw it out of bounds. I mean, it's going to take half of that time each time they threw that ball. If they don't catch one on this one, they're going to have to catch it on one of the next 2 and get in.
Right.
Mustangs are setting up deep in the backfield, lining up about the 12, 13-yard line.
142 yards of total offense for Lutheran. The Mustangs with 15. But it's only 10-0. Now he got a first down and 10 at the 33-yard line. 11 seconds to go in the opening half. Sorensen back to throw, middle of the pocket, pressure coming. The slant is going to be caught underneath at the 20-yard line, and down at the 18 is Whistler. He went down, so there'd be time to kick a field goal as we now have 3.5 seconds to go. It's a gain of 15. This would set up about a 35-yard field goal from Smolin. And that was a very smart play by Whistler. If he keeps running, perhaps the half is over.
Yeah, he wouldn't have got into the end zone and time would have run out. So
now remember I'm sorry, Brian, the field goal he kicked the first time, is that low line drive?
Yeah.
This is not going to be a gimme at all.
Maybe Fort Morgan can block it, run down and score, and make it a 3-point game.
Kevin,
good thinking.
Between the post first half and that, I mean,
he's got his game on. It's taken all season, but he got his game on tonight.
I got my game on it. It's just not a top 3 letter. I don't know. Mine is a top 4 letter. Here we go. Right hash mark, attempting the 35-yard field goal is Samuel Smullen. Off the hold of Andrew Long. Awaiting the snap. Low snap, and the kick is a line drive. Boy, that's got some distance. It is no good. It is off to the left, and that's the way the opening half ends. With the score after 24 minutes of football, it is Lutheran 10, Fort Morgan nothing on senior night from Legion Field. We'll take a 1-minute break and back with a post-first half show on Morgan County's B106, B106.com, and the Eastern Plains Sports Network. Let's get to the third quarter with Fort Morgan trailing Lutheran on senior night at Legion Field 10-0. Samuel Smullen will kick it off. He's kicked a 24-yard field goal and missed a 35-yarder. And if you don't generate much offense, there's one way you can do it. Special teams. But all they're doing is pooching kicks. And if you're pooching kicks, the Mustangs have been starting from the 30 to 40-yard line.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see how good he really can kick. But they apparently are scared of our return men, so now they've got the return men playing up about the farthest one back is at the 15 now. So
this is another pooch, and it's fielded by Yanez at the 50. Then he falls at the 49. He got no trajectory on that. It was only kicked about 10 yards forward.
I don't know what Fort Morgan has for yardage on kickoff returns and special teams, but I don't think that we have anyone that really you need to worry about going the distance every time you kick them.
No. Last year, a different story with both Fajardo and Ortega, but this year, other than Charlie Langford's kickoff return against Pueblo County, that went for 6. Haven't had much there. 1st and 10 from the 49-yard line of Lutheran, and they have jumped. 3 players jumped. That's a good, solid, hard count by J.J. Marquez. It'll set up Fort Morgan at the Lutheran 44. They had a 15-yard touchdown pass from Chase Sorensen in the second quarter early on to Sam Wisford. Then the 24-yard field goal that we mentioned by Smullen. 1st and 5 for the Mustangs at the 44. This half already starting like the first quarter did, with Laundry on the field. At the 44. Marquez. Play action, back to throw. To the middle. It's caught by Johnson at the 30-yard line. He's down right there off the slant. It's a gain of 14. Excellent pass there. And a well-run pattern by Kayshawn Johnson. He actually backtracked to the 31, a gain of 13. And that's the best executed play Fort Morgan has had since the 16-yard pass to Johnson.
Yeah, and it was a quick release. Didn't have to hold it for long. Didn't have to throw it in to where the safety could come up and help.
Yeah, JJ in the opening half was just 2 out of 9 for 19 yards and a pick. 1st and 10 from the 31. From the pistol, this might indicate a handoff to Keller. Marquez turns around. Let's see if that means a handoff. This will be a handoff to Keller. He's got a hole across the right side, inside the 30 to about the 28. I thought I was going to go for more than 3 yards. But considering what they've done offensively or haven't done in the first half, with negative 7 yards rushing, that's a +3.
Yeah, they looked like they did some adjustment at half, and they're just coming out and telling them block somebody and let's go down the field.
2nd down and 7 from the 28-yard line of Lutheran. Opening possession here of quarter number 3. Marquez will keep the football up the middle, and he's down to the 26. Might have gotten the 25. A hard run by the freshman will give him 2 yards, a 3rd down, and 5 to go for Fort Morgan.
Yeah, there's just not much running room there, especially up the middle like that. They're pretty good size, and they're also pretty quick.
And that combination of size and speed will really neutralize an offense every time. Inside the 26-yard line of the Lions, 3rd and 5. In motion to the left is Lopez. Handoff to Keller, running off right tackle, and he's down at the 24. He ran behind a blocker, then ran into a blocker, and then into a Lion. And where's his spot going to be?
23.
Yeah.
Oh, they're backing it back to the 25.
wow.
I don't know what this guy was doing.
Wow, yeah, I had no idea. Gain of only 1. It looked like he got to the 24. 4th and 4. Mustangs will go for it. 2 minutes and 20 seconds into quarter number 3. Well, you can't do a running play here. A running play is not going to work. Not if you need 4 yards in a 4th and 4. More than likely play action from the pistol. Rolling out to his left, Marquez. Pressure backside. Marquez stops. And then he's going to be taken down hard at the 38. There's going to be a late flag.
Yep.
There's a late flag. That's going to be a post-play penalty. But I think Lutheran's still going to get the ball.
No, he's calling the face mask.
I think it was a face mask on the tackle.
Well, that was a late flag. It was a real late flag.
It was really high. I thought it was more like a clothesline than up in the face mask. But maybe as you clothesline him and he goes back, your hand slides up into that face mask. Regardless, it was a high hit, and you don't need to be hitting anyone in the face or the head.
Yeah. Yep. But it's not going to be an automatic first down because it was back at the 38, so it will be at the 23. Well, it was a 4th and 4. Now it's a 4th and 2. And now Marquez is out of the game, so it'll be Keller in there out of the Wildcat.
When did they change the rule that personal fouls were spot fouls from?
Well,
I mean, it should be from the line of scrimmage.
Anyway, 4th and 2 from the Wildcat. Keller with a hard count. Looking over towards the sideline at the 23-yard line. 10-0 Lutheran early in the third quarter. Yeah, this is not going to be a pass play. We know that. There's a snap to Keller looking to his right. A flag is down. That's going to be a false start, I would think, against Fort Morgan, and that's what the Lutheran defensive linemen are signaling. So now, instead of a 4th and 2, it's a 4th and 7 yards to go at the 28-yard line. And now you're going to have to bring in Marquez, and here he comes back into the game. And Aguirre will be checking out along with Miguel Davila. Johnson is back in. Well, looked like only about a 4-yard penalty. That's at the 27, should be at the 28. I mean, it was literally 4th and 2, and now it's 4th and 6. I don't know. I have no idea. Did they change the math on that? I've never seen a 4-yard penalty because that's for the line of scrimmage. We know that. 4th and 6 at the 27-yard line of Lutheran. 2 receivers to the right, none to the left. JJ on the slant. It's incomplete off the hands of Johnson at the 20-yard line, a little bit high.
Should have had it. Went right through his hands.
Yep. And Lutheran takes over on downs.
Person they're really missing offensively here when they get down to the, 3rd and short, 4th and short is Trey Romero, where they were able to bring him in and he could usually pick that up, but with him being hurt, that option is out the window.
What a shock! We have a flag down after the play. Now let's see.
Unsportsmanlike.
Well, if it's against Fort Morgan, Johnson might have said something. We'll find out. This will be unsportsmanlike against Lutheran. Yeah.
Wow.
Well, Kayshon didn't say anything. He's been a good, solid player all season. And
Lutheran, without their starting quarterback, even without their starting quarterback, they should be playing better than this.
A lot better.
They're if they play like this next week, they'll be out.
Yeah, because the 3A playoffs begin a week from today. There'll be some Friday night and Saturday games as well. And Lutheran already the league champion at 7-2. So 1st and 10 for the Lions. The football will be spotted inside the 15 at the 13-yard line.
Oh, 1st and 25. Oh no, they are bringing it back.
No, they got to bring they got to bring the chains back. That's I don't know what they were doing there. Yeah, so maybe at the 14-yard line. No, it's at the 13.
Yep.
On 1st and 10, Sorensen with a man in motion to the left. He'll take it himself off the fake handoff, and he's thrown for a loss back at the 11. And that looked like Noah Aguirre had every part of Sorensen's body and slammed it into the turf for a loss of 3.
Yeah, this defense this is by far their best game in this season so far.
Mm-hmm.
2nd down and 13 yards to go from the 11. Oh, yeah, it's a tremendous play.
Yeah.
Well, we'll make it 2nd and 12 instead. 2nd and 12 for the 11. Lutheran in no hurry to get the next play off. They have plenty of time on the play clock. Back to throw is Sorensen stepping up, heaving it deep along the left side, and it's going to be incomplete. There's a flag. Langford didn't turn around again on a ball that was underthrown towards Ciccio.
Yep.
That's 3 pass interference penalties on Fort Morgan. They've got to turn around.
But of the 3, that was probably the most ticky-tack, if at all.
I agree.
You know, he had some contact, but pretty much the ball was uncatchable. It was thrown way inside, and maybe he kept the receiver from moving back in, but...
You know, those receivers are getting behind them, so they're running with their back to the play, and when they slow down to try to come back to the ball, then their defenders are running over them.
And I'm guessing their starting quarterback probably would have hit him in stride, and they would have had a touchdown on several of those.
Yeah.
1st down and 10, just beyond the 25-yard line for Lutheran. We got to have close to 200 yards in penalties, it feels, in this game. Total. And there's a false start on Lutheran on the left guard. Yep, it continues. It just continues. This is really sloppy football on both sides. This 3rd quarter brought to you by Bank of Colorado. They believe in keeping things simple. Apply for the loan you need for your dream home fully online. Visit bankofcolorado.com for all the information today. 1st down and 15 yards to go for Lutheran. With a football at their own 21-yard line, leading 10-0. Sorensen, bubble screen to the left, caught by Ciccio. He's got some room across the 25 to the 30, and he's out of bounds. It's going to be well short of a 1st down. He was ushered out at the 29 maybe, or the 30. It'll be a gain of 9 once they spot the football.
Scores from around the area. Prairie makes the 8-man or 6-man playoffs as the number 16 seed and is losing 46-0 to Stratton at the end of the 3rd quarter.
2nd down and 6. Again, here's a pump wide open at Ciccio. He's got it at the 40-yard line, and he's gone. Johnson giving chase at the 10 to the 5, touchdown. The Mustangs were burned badly, and that one goes for 70 yards to Joe Ciccio, and it's 16-0 Lutheran.
Yeah, somebody lost sight of their receiver out there, and he just ran right by him, was wide open. And
well, anybody could have made that throw. I mean, that was what a pattern their run, and the Mustangs fell apart there in the secondary. Along the left sideline, an easy pitch and catch. Now the extra point to be attempted for a 17-point lead off the hold of Long. Snap is there. The kick is up, and the kick is good. 7:14 remaining, 3rd quarter on senior night. It's Lutheran 17, Fort Morgan nothing on B106 and the Eastern Plains Sports Network. 2nd touchdown pass of the game from Chase Sorensen. The first was 15 yards to Sam Whistler. That went 70 yards along the left sideline to Joe Ciccio, who now has 4 receptions in the game for 96 yards. And to kick it off will be Samuel Smolin. Well, let me not say to kick it off, to pooch it somewhere. He's only standing about 2 to 3 yards behind the football, which means he can't get much on it. This will be pooched. Middle of the field, bounces at the 35, fielded at the 33 by Langford. Nearly had a seam, but he's taken down across the 35 to the 39.
If you take the average of their 4 kickoffs so far and find the average field possession, they'd be better off kicking it out of bounds. And
You're right.
To Fort Morgan at the 35.
Yep. Yeah, I don't understand what they're up to.
1st and 10 for Fort Morgan at their own 39-yard line, down by 2.5 scores now. Boy, no rushing tonight whatsoever. The running game is completely shut down into negative yardage. Low snap, handoff to Keller, running to his left, back to the middle. Well, he gets 2 yards, make it perhaps 3 to the 42. Initial penetration by Peyton Garrett, as well as Josh Ayers. 2nd down and 7. Keller in this half has 3 carries for 7 yards after 8 carries for a -7 in the opening half. Let's see, updating Keller's numbers in the game. 2nd down and 7 from the 42. Marquez rolls to his right. Backside pressure, gets a block, throws underneath, incomplete to Johnson. Flag is down at the 41. The penalty marker is a hold against Fort Morgan.
That was a quick hold flag, unless it was on the...
Perhaps on a receiver.
That's what I'm wondering, yeah.
Trying to free himself. Well, it looks like Lutheran's going to take that penalty and set up a 2nd down and 18. Or check that, and about 17. See, this is the issue. Come on. Can we get things moving here?
Yeah.
Sorry. I mean, how long does it take? I mean, these guys are younger than we are, I would think. It takes forever. Back at the 31-yard line, so it is a 2nd down and 18. Yeah, thank goodness we're not counting penalty yardage here because it's like I said, it's got to be 200 yards combined.
We'd have to take off our shoes and count on our toes.
Yeah, pretty much. Naked backfield. Keller, the receiver, to the right, 1 to the left on 2nd down and 18. Marquez with a deep drop, pressure coming, and the screen pass is incomplete towards Redding at the 30-yard line. Trey Ciccio might have been able to pick that off had that ball hung in the air a little bit more. 3rd down.
Marquez is a little gimpy getting up. I wonder who would replace him if we had to go one deeper than
I'm not sure.
the freshman.
He got nailed after the pass. Now he's holding his left arm.
3 out of 12 for 32 yards. And not only holding his left arm, but holding it on a 32-degree night. And what can Fort Morgan pull out of the hat here? Down 17-0. Midway through quarter number 3. It's 31 degrees officially in Fort Morgan. From the pistol. On 3rd down. Marquez still waiting for that football. Has got it. Back to throw. Pressure up the middle. Hits at his throws. Intercepted by Ciccio at the 38-yard line. And that is turnover number 3 by Fort Morgan. 2nd interception thrown by Marquez as Ciccio immediately went down to the ground.
And Lutheran has the advantage of knowing that Fort Morgan's going to have to pass since we can't run. And they only rush 3, so that means they're dropping 8 into coverage. So they have people underneath, people playing deep, and it's just going to be a really hard night.
But the 3 they're rushing looks like 5 or 6 guys.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because they're right in on him. He's not getting any time even just with 3 guys coming.
From the 38-yard line, Lutheran already up 17-0 in the 3rd quarter. Ryan Kenny will not get the football. The screen pass out to Joe Ciccio. He spins, and Johnson throws him out of bounds after a gain of about 5, maybe 6 to the 32. 2nd down and 4. Lots of those bubble screens tonight from Sorensen to usually Ciccio. 167 yards passing. There's the give to Kenny. 1st down up the middle across the 25 to the 24. It's a gain of 8 before the tackle was made. Kenny with his first carry of this half. 32 yards on 7 carries. Quick snap. Kenny again, stutter steps, and then he's taken down after a gain of a couple. Aguirre makes the play at the 21. 3 yards officially, 2nd down and 7. On 2nd down and 7 for the Mustang 21. Sorensen is going to roll out to his right. Throws underneath. It's caught at the 16-yard line and short of a 1st down, but very close. As the pass was caught by Tegan McNellis. Let's see, they give him the 1st down.
Yep. At the 14.
At the 14, another screen out to the left, caught by Ciccio. He breaks a tackle. He's got the sideline to the 5. Touchdown, an easy touchdown off the broken tackle. 14 yards out, Lutheran leads 23-0, and Ciccio with his 2nd touchdown of the game, 3rd touchdown pass by Chase Sorensen. This is kind of the way we expected the game to go in the opening half, unfortunately.
Yep, that's kind of falling apart here on them. But the first of the season, they'd get down and then they would get down on themselves and it would just get completely away from them. Hopefully that's not happening tonight. So
the extra point is up and good, and took a while to get that kickoff because there was a bobble there. 5:25 to go in the third quarter. Lutheran is in command. It's the Lions 24, the Fort Morgan Mustangs nothing on B106 and the Eastern Plains Sports Network. 3 Mustang turnovers have resulted in 17 of Lutheran's 24 points. The latest, a 14-yard touchdown pass from Sorensen to Ciccio. Second connection for a score in the game. And here we go with Smollen's high short kick, fielded at the 20-yard line as backing up to the 28. Let's see if we get a Mustang number on that for a return of 8. That's Ben Fritzer, the freshman. That's where the Mustangs will start. I don't know how you can snap this offense out of that.
Well, it's really hard because the offensive linemen have been getting beat down by the bigger defensive linemen all game, and they're getting tired now.
I'm not sure how legit the Lutheran offense is because we haven't seen their starting quarterback, but the defense is really good. 1st and 10 for the 28. There's the handoff to Keller running left. He's going to be smoked to the ground. He got a yard, maybe. You never know. These officials aren't lining up correctly from one end to the other. Very weird how they do that. A gain of a yard for Keller, 2nd down and 9 to go. Yeah. Keller does have 10 yards on 4 carries in the second half.
The far side lineman doesn't move at all until after the play.
Okay, that makes sense.
I mean, not by design, just
right.
That's what he does.
12 carries for 6 yards for Keller, but much better in the second half. And the Mustangs just with 40 yards of total offense tonight. On 2nd down and 9 for the 29, Marquez play action. He's going to be taken down, a sack inside the 20-yard line. Nearly was horse-collared, but they got him just below the top of the jersey.
Yep.
For a loss of, man, that's ridiculous.
That's a poor
Knock
spot.
it off already. That's stupid. That's not a loss of 18 or 11 or 12 yards.
No, he was dragged backwards.
Yes, that's a horrible spot. I mean, fine, he's sacked. It should be a loss of 7 or 8 yards, but not 11. They got to do better than that. That is ridiculous. 3rd down and 20 to go for Fort Morgan, trailing 24-0. 3:52 and the clock is running. And J.J. Marquez with a 3-step drop, pumps, steps up, throws deep over the middle. It's going to be intercepted at the 44-yard line. And that is Smollen. 3rd interception thrown by Marquez, a diving interception in Fort Morgan territory. At this point, you're just better handing off the ball or running reverses or jet sweeps or something.
Yep. Just let the clock run and get it over with.
Well, I get it. I mean, they're trying to do anything possible, but the ball now looks like it's being thrown in the same area of the field, too.
And he needs to just realize that, count 3, and if the guy's not open, throw it out of bounds, throw it over everybody's head, get rid of it somehow, because he's going to get hit, and that's where the interception comes. Is he's getting hit as he's throwing, and he's putting up ducks.
On 1st and 10 for the 44, there's a handoff, and Stutter stepping back to the line of scrimmage is Kenny. Noah Aguirre has been all over the field, and that time he made the play along with Adolfo Hernandez. Do I have the? Okay. 2nd down and 9. Or make it 10 to go. Play action. Rolling out to his left. Pressure coming. Sorensen throws off his back foot towards the sideline, and it's broken up by Langford at the 25-yard line.
Yeah, that was an ill-advised pass there. Charlie had the better chance at that one. Unfortunately, couldn't pull it down.
3rd down and 10 at the 44. He still has 100 and, wow. Let's see, 188 yards passing for Sorensen. Back to throw, setting near the sideline, and that's going to be caught at the 32-yard line, trying to break a tackle and getting a first down to the 31 off that duck is McNellis. And that's going to be a block below the knees, a chop block, nullifying the play against Lutheran.
I wonder if that's a spot foul.
That's a spot foul. That's definitely a spot foul. I mean, it's only a spot foul if it's behind the line of scrimmage. I think if it's a little bit beyond, it'll be from the line of scrimmage.
No, they're just going from the line of scrimmage.
Yeah. Well, yeah, they're going beyond that.
That's 15-yard
penalty.
penalty.
It is 15. You're right. You're right.
I guess I just need to get the rule book and read it.
Yeah, I guess I don't know it either.
I'd be a little more able to give good advice if I actually read something.
Our post first half and second half show to follow the game. It'll be 3rd and 25 from the 41. Perfect snap. Sorensen sets, and he's a deep along the left side. Jump ball, and it is caught by Whistler for a first down on a 3rd and 20. Gets to the 29-yard line on 3rd and 25. A gain of 29. Wow.
And that ball was up there so long you'd think that Johnson would have been able to step forward and swat that down, but he misread it, and it came down a little shorter than he thought.
There's the handoff to Kenny, running left to the 25, the left sideline of the 20. A stiff arm to Johnson, who takes him down, but it's a 1st and goal. Ryan Kenny with his best run of the night, a gain of 20. Inside the 10-yard line. And now Fort Morgan's just tired.
Yeah.
Keller trying to get off the field, and does just in time. At the 9, there's the pitch forward to Cicio along the left sideline. He's going to score easily just inside the pylon. Should be a 9-yard touchdown. That's going to go as a pass. That will go as a pass. It was a pitch forward. 3rd touchdown connection from Sorensen to Cicio. It is now 30-0 Lutheran.
Now it looks like Lutheran's offense has found its rhythm, and they're just having their way with Fort Morgan.
Well, they haven't committed a turnover. Fort Morgan has committed 4 in the game, and now long to hold. Extra point by Smolin as a line drive right through the middle. 2 minutes, 17 seconds to go. 3rd quarter. Lutheran has scored 21 points in the quarter. They lead Fort Morgan 31-0 on B106 and the Eastern Plains Sports Network. A 10-0 halftime lead is now a 31-0 advantage for Lutheran late in the 3rd quarter. It's been the Sorensen to Cicio show. 3 touchdowns they've combined for in this quarter. 70 yards, 14 yards, and 9 yards, and a little pitch forward. And there's a high short kick. Somebody has to get it. Fielded at the 31-yard line by Langford. And then he's tackled around the waist and ankles at the 38 for a return of 7. Brought down by Gavin Downing, a sophomore. I'm at the point I want to close my eyes. I'm serious. I mean,
well, it's just unfortunate for Fort Morgan that they're that outmanned that they're not able to run or pass. And so it's choose your poison, pass and throw an interception, or run three times and punt.
Well, I'll throw a bubble screen. How about that?
Well, they tried that one screen, and that just blew up on them, too. So.
Yeah, but everything up the middle is really a disaster at this point. Bosworth in motion to the left. Handoff to Keller. Right up the gut. And he bowls to the 39-yard line. I'll tell you what, this near side judge, he's given some generous spots. 2nd down and 9 to go, real generous. I don't think he got to the 39, but that's what he said.
Well, I think he's trying to line up with the guy across the field, in line with the ball.
Well,
I don't know, because the other guy's not moving.
1:44 to go in the 3rd quarter. Lutheran 31, Fort Morgan nothing. J.J. Marquez has thrown 3 interceptions in the game. Low snap, and then Marquez is going to be taken down for a loss. Tried to run to his right. And what kind of spot is that? What are they doing with the spot? What are they doing with this
What
spot?
is this guy doing? I have no idea what he's doing.
I mean, this is some of the worst officiating when it comes to spots. He was hit. Well, now it's at the 38. What is that?
That's even worse.
What happened there? I mean, he was tackled back at the 35.
He never got to the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, it's 3rd down and 10. I have no idea. Apparently, they've changed the rules on how to do any of this.
And we're not saying that it's at all one-sided, that one team's benefiting from it. It just makes no sense.
On 3rd and 10 from the 38-yard line, Marquez looks to throw pressure up the middle, hit as he throws, and that's incomplete at the 48-yard line. And the Mustangs will have to punt, and Marquez is flat on his stomach, getting up slowly and being assisted momentarily by a Lutheran player. And they got to send out the punting unit, and they will.
Yeah, it's come down to this where they need to keep these kids safe and just at least keep Marquez safe. He's taking a beating out there, handed off to some of these backs that are more apt to be able to take a little more of a beating and save him.
Perfect snap, and that is a high end-over-end kick, fielded at the 25. There's a seam to the left side by Whistler at the 40. Whistler to the 50 with 1 to beat, makes a move on Redding, but then Redding is able to usher him out along with another Mustang, but that's a return of close to 50 yards, and Lutheran is in business again with 22 seconds remaining in the 3rd quarter. Wow.
Yeah. It's just gone completely south on the Mustangs here in the second half.
Well, at some point, there had to be a breakdown, and there's been a few breakdowns. 1st and 10 for Lutheran at the Mustang 26-yard line. They have 3 touchdown passes from Sorensen in this quarter. All to CCO. High snap, handoff to Kenny, stutter stepping, and he's tackled right there at the 26. No gain. Let's see if that's the end of the 3rd quarter.
Yeah, they're not going to take one. It'll be the end of the 3rd.
With the score, Lutheran 31, Fort Morgan nothing on B106 and the Eastern Plains Sports Network. Along with Brian Nickel and Kevin Rohde, I'm John Beltran. Let's hit the 4th quarter on senior night. Lutheran has the football, 2nd down and 10 at the Mustang 25-yard line. Just shy of the 25, leading Fort Morgan 31-0. Here's a handoff on the left side to Kenny behind his left guard, but only has a yard as Dominic Vasquez makes the tackle at the 24. 3rd down and 9 to go. Ryan Kenny hasn't had too many carries tonight. He does have 56 yards on 12 carries.
Fort Morgan has done a pretty decent job of containing the run game. It's the passing game that has gained the big yards for them.
Well, and all the pass interferences called against Fort Morgan as well have not helped. On 3rd and 9, make it 3rd and 8, we'll call it, from the 24-yard line. Man in motion to the left. Rolling out, throwing off his back foot. The pass is caught underneath by Kenny at the 15 to the 10 to the 5, and he's going to score. That's another touchdown pass from Sorensen, this time to Ryan Kenny, 24 yards out. Lutheran 37, Fort Morgan nothing, as Sorensen had all types of pressure but got rid of the football just in time.
Yeah, Kenny was open just behind that line of defenders there and found his way into the end zone.
Now the extra point to be attempted. And that is, let's see, 5 touchdown passes tonight and an errant snap. Smolin takes off with the football to his right. He's going to go for the pylon. He's going to be tackled short of the end zone, so the conversion is no good. 11 minutes, 10 seconds to go in the game. It's Lutheran 37, Fort Morgan nothing on B106 and the Eastern Plains Sports Network. 4 touchdowns in the second half for Lutheran. All touchdown passes from Sorensen to either CCO or the last one to Ryan Kenny. 24 yards out. 37-0. You know what's unfortunate? It's going to look like it's been a blowout the whole game when it hasn't. There's the kickoff by Smolin. That's a line drive fielded by Johnson at the 10, running to his right to the 15, along the sideline to the 20, and then pushed out of bounds near the 25-yard line. But Brian hit the nail on the head, and I think you just got to keep these players safe now. The season is over. We have only got 11 minutes and 3 seconds to go in the season, and you're trailing 37-0, but I'm sure Lutheran wants to stay healthy as well.
Yeah, they got playoffs looking them in the face next Saturday. I would guess next Saturday anyway.
I would think at this point they would start substituting and getting some of their guys that are going to maybe have to back up if there's a injury in the playoffs.
But they've got their starters out there. 1st and 10 from the 25-yard line. Lopez in motion to the left. There's the handoff to Keller. A big hole up the middle. That's closed after a gain of 4 to the 29. Oh, they're going to give him the 30 because the way these officials spot the football, you never know. So a charity yard for David Keller, 2nd down and 5. And Keller's run the ball very well here in the second half, believe it or not. Because in this second half, he's got 6 carries for 14 yards. I know that sounds like very little, but in the first half, had negative yardage through 8 carries. On 2nd down and 5 to go from the 30. And Lutheran doesn't miss tackles either.
No, they're an excellent defense.
Lopez in motion, has the jet sweep back towards the middle, and he's spun down after a gain of a couple to the 32. 3rd down and 3 to go for Fort Morgan. Got to get to the 40 just to continue the drive. Lutheran with a field goal or touchdown will get this to a running clock. I don't believe Fort Morgan's been in Lutheran territory. If they have, it's been barely in Lutheran territory. 3rd down and 3 to go, 37-yard line. Pistol formation, Marquez, quick drop, throws out to his right, caught, but for a first down, and a flag is down, though, caught by Johnson at the 36. Now let's see what the flag is all about. If that's going to be a formation penalty, which it might be, then that's going to nullify the gain. Are they going to call a hold that quickly?
Jeez.
I have never seen holding penalties called this quickly. I mean, that play could have been more than 4 seconds. But it's going to be against Fort Morgan. Wow.
And that lineman, way out there, how's he calling holding? He's supposed to be watching the receivers release downfield.
And that's a spot foul because it's going all the way back to the 20. So the 3rd and 2 is now a 3rd and 15. Marquez has already thrown 3 interceptions in the game. Awaiting the snap. On 3rd down and 15 from the 20. Langford in motion. Back to throw Marquez. Steps up, throws off his back foot, incomplete. Johnson leaped at the 26-yard line, could not bring it in. And Fort Morgan will punt again. JJ had a 13-yard completion to Johnson, his first pass of the second half. Since then is 0 for 6 with 2 picks.
Yeah, rough night. He's been getting hit every time he releases the ball.
Oh, no doubt. He's 3 out of 17 for 30 yards, 32 yards. Well, Lutheran can get this to a running clock with a score. Redding standing at his own 5-yard line. High, end over end, short punt. Bounces at the 42. Takes a Lutheran roll and down at about the 40. Punt goes for 20 yards. And now we got a late flag as Lutheran mouthing off again.
Looks like it's on number 50 for Lutheran. He's kind of had a little bit of chippiness all game as teammates have pulled him away from some other piles.
Yeah, Peyton Garrett. Yeah, that's exactly who it was. That's just unfortunate. You're mouthing off. You're up 37. That looks really Bush. It just does. I'm sorry. Actually, I'm not sorry because you can't be doing that. You cannot be doing that in a game like this.
Yeah, next week that might cost them, going any further in the in the playoffs.
Yep.
Well, what should happen, let's see, Stephen Robbins shouldn't play him the rest of the game. You're already up by a large margin. Keep him out of the game. And now, looks like they're going to go to Dylan Grit. No, they're going to go to Wesolowski now. They go to the backup quarterback for this game. What a performance, a tremendous performance by Sorensen. Well over 200 yards passing. And he's thrown for 5 touchdowns, 4 in the second half, 3 of those to Joe Ciccio. Well, now Wesolowski running over towards the sideline, I guess, for play instructions.
Talking to the coach. Up.
And do we have another flag thrown against? Is that just a warning, or is that going to be a 15-yarder again?
Not sure what's going on over on that sideline.
Well, let's see what the...
It's almost like they can't get the chain set, like they're bothering the chain gang or something, but I don't think that's...
The chain gang is just walking away.
Yep, they just left.
Well, if they're getting mistreated.
Yep.
It's unfortunate that the visiting team would mistreat the chain gang to the point where they'd have to leave.
Yep. That's ridiculous.
Well, I mean, they could just end the game right now. You know, unsportsmanlike.
Ejection. Oh, that means he can't be at the next game.
Yep. Whoever it is.
Hopefully it's not the head coach. That'd be embarrassing.
That's ridiculous. But you know, well, I don't know. It's just unfortunate. You're up like that.
Yeah, what would you possibly have to say when you're up 37-0?
Into the chain gang, for crying out loud. They're over there. They're impartial. They're sitting there putting the chains where they're supposed to be putting them. I know they're from Fort Morgan, but they're not sitting over there cheering for the Mustangs for sure. So,
well, when we did that semifinal game last year in Parker, some of the behavior in the stands for the home crowd was ridiculous, and a language all over our recording. And you know, this is really embarrassing. It is really embarrassing.
I haven't seen any coach or any player necessarily walking off the field as they've been expelled, but
Lutheran should have had the football at the Fort Morgan 40. Now it's going to be at their own 31-yard line. So essentially, you know, it is 30 yards in penalties.
Yeah, we'll see what they do for a chain gang. They may not even, I don't know what they're going to do.
Well, the officials can just keep it themselves. Okay,
did they?
well,
Okay.
that's it. The chain gang was, I guess, responsible for pushing a Lutheran player.
yeah,
and
that's hard
why
to believe.
things
I
got
imagine
out
they
of
were probably trying to get downfield and actually bumped into him.
Yeah.
I
Well,
I wasn't there.
well.
On the headset. I see, I hear it all.
All right, let's see. It's at the 31-yard line.
So they're calling the players together here to saying let's just play.
Here we go. 1st and 10 at the 31. All right. Here we go. No. It's okay. I mean, that's going to be contested somehow.
They'll get somebody over there to
Yeah.
run them.
well, an interesting situation for sure.
Well, the Colorado Prep Scoreboard Show will follow with Kevin Schaefer at 9:30, and hopefully we'll be able to get that in time. But the way it's looking right now, with the Lions up 37-0. But here's the deal. Even before that, there was that. You know, we've had too many of these penalties here called. It's been a flag-filled type of game.
Yeah, how many unsportsmanlike conduct plays do you have to have against your team?
Right. I mean, so I don't know. I mean, they're still using volunteer firefighters, aren't they?
Oh, yeah, they're volunteers.
chains.
Never had any problems before.
Yeah. But either way, we don't want to start a mess up here. We've already had enough of a mess down there.
That's true.
Not by any of our fault, but right now it's 37-0 Lutheran. The chain gang has.
They're still standing over there. It looks like Clint Anderson's going to go over and have a chat with them maybe and see if he can bring them back.
Well, do they always have to have the chains on the visiting side? I mean, can they move the chains on the home side?
They could.
Right? I mean, that's the way to do it then. I mean, that's the solution. Move the chains. You are the home team.
Yeah,
Move
they are.
the chains to the
Very
home
good.
side, and that will solve the whole issue. I mean, that doesn't take a rocket science, okay? I finished 54th out of 56 in my graduating class, and I can figure that out. Now that I've exposed my grade point average, not completely. But, yeah, just move to the home side and finish this game. I mean, the game has been over after Lutheran scored 21 points in the third quarter, and now with a 37-0 lead. Since 2003, Western Engineering Consultants has been providing big firm product with small firm relationships. Visit westerneci.com for more. I'm still going for the fish sandwich tonight, Brian. I won't get specific with where, but
Yeah, we got the chain gang coming back over here, so we'll get them lined up on the home side.
well, now they're applauding the chain gang. So, I mean, they should finish it out. I'm glad they're finishing it out.
But they can't be in a hostile situation. I've done chain gangs a lot of times here and in a lot of schools, and I've never had anyone from the other team, ever do anything.
Yep.
All right, the game will resume at some point. Right now, we have 8 minutes and 48 seconds to go. It's been about a 10-minute delay. We had a little bit of a altercation or whatever you want to call it along the Lutheran sideline. According to a Lutheran assistant coach, one of the chain gang members pushed a Lutheran player. That's what they told us. That's all I'm reporting is fact from what I was told. Now, that could be true. It could be an interpretation or whatever. What we do know is that prior to that, which had nothing to do with the chain gang, another unsportsmanlike was called against Lutheran. That's another fact. So let's lay that out. Let's lay out the complete story rather than just that one incident.
And it's unfortunate that this has got to be the way these kids' senior night, last game at home, has to end up. And for Lutheran, it's sad for them because they have a bright playoff future, and for them to have this to think about.
There's a gain right up the middle of about 3 yards for Dylan Griffin on a second down and about 20-some-odd yards to go. They got to get to the Fort Morgan 44. They're at their own 34, so it's third down and 22 now. Third and 22 off the 3-yarder from Griffin at the 35-yard line. And now they're just taking time off the clock, which is smart at this point.
Yep.
They've got the backup in there. And Jack Wesolowski at the 35. 5-step drop. Passes out to his right. Caught underneath at the 46. And a gain of 11 as it was caught by Benjamin Herbeck. It'll be fourth down. And fourth down and about 10 yards to go. And they're going to send in the punting unit, Smallin, to punt the ball away. Still have 7.5 to go in the game. Yeah, we'll get to as short a post game as possible. Just to get to the Colorado Prep scoreboard show, which starts in 11 minutes, but we won't be there on time. And that punt is high, end over end, rather short. Bounces at the 35. And it rolls straight down to the 37. Or check that. At the 30 and down to the 32. So Fort Morgan takes over. That punt went for 24 yards. And J.J. Marquez is back out there.
I'm not sure who their backup is, since Trey Romero is injured too.
I think it's the last game of the season. Put you and me out there, Brian.
We could do that.
Yeah.
I'll take a hit. One.
First.
One and done.
Exactly.
First and 10 at the 32-yard line. David Keller in that backfield has had a productive second half. He's got the ball running to his left to the 35-yard line. If he can get there, he cannot. He's spun down at the 34. He's had 3 or 4 carries. It looked like they were going to bust loose. And then all of a sudden, Lutheran with great closing speed and a gain of 2. Second down and 8.
Yeah, they're pretty quick to the ball.
Again, Keller in this half, 7 carries for, let's see, 18 yards. Slowly up to the line of scrimmage on second down and 8 to go from the 34. Lutheran leads 37-0 midway through the fourth quarter. In motion to the left is Aguirre, resetting. High snap, now it's bobbled. The ball is picked up by Keller out of the air, and then he's taken down for a loss. A little bit of an errant snap. Marquez got a hand on it, and then Keller brought it in. Back to the 28-yard line. Now it's third down and 14.
That time the center overcompensated for having the low snaps and snapped it over his head.
You're just better off handing the ball off here. You know, especially looking at a game like this, 37-0, 5:46 to go. You know, it's almost a victory if it doesn't get to a running clock.
Yeah.
You know, that's the one thing you're playing for, completing the game without the clock going. And Marquez is sacked. Oh, man,
Yep.
he was smothered, but that was a high hit. That might have been a horse collar.
No, they're going to call it on 78 for jumping on.
At the 29-yard line, let's see.
He had no reason to jump on that.
Yeah, he went high. I think it was actually on the hit.
Yeah, I think it was pulling down by the helmet.
Yeah, that looks like a horse collar.
Yep.
But that will not be an let's see. No, that will not be an automatic first down because he was horse collared at the 20-yard line. And in college and in the pros, that's going to be an automatic first down. But instead, it's going to be a third down and about 7 yards to go at the 35-yard line. Well, I assume that Daugard, the starting quarterback, will be back next week because now we know, even with that defense, that they need that quarterback because Fort Morgan eventually wore down in this third quarter and too many mistakes. With 4 turnovers in the game, all committed by the Mustangs. Third down and 7 to go from the 35-yard line. Watch out for Josh Ayers, the left defensive end. Looks like he's coming hard. And this direct snap off the Wildcat, and the flag is down.
Yeah, JJ's on the sideline over here talking with the trainer. He got hurt on that last tackle that he got involved with.
Well, it'll be third down and now 12 yards to go.
And 2 plays in a row with penalties.
The only reason this game is tolerable at this point is because
it's warm.
That's it. That's it. Where we're at, it's warm. Everybody else is freezing out there. On third and 12. Direct snap off the Wildcat to Keller. Runs to his left, and he's tackled for a loss back at the 29.
Yep. Go ahead.
You know, he wasn't even brought down. He was just driven back.
Yep. They know that our quarterback can't pass now, so it's just going to be complete run. JJ's on the sideline doing some running, trying to loosen up, see what might be hurting. So they're going to punt anyway, you have to. So
I'm interested to see how good of a punt this is going to be from Chase Redding. He's had such a good year. Saved the best for last. This should be the last punt of his high school career. And that one is a high, fluttering punt. Bounces at the 44. Takes a Mustang roll. Continues to roll down to the 35-yard line. All right, so that's 38-yard punt, about 38 yards. Not too bad for Chase Redding.
Yep, he's a little gimpy coming off the field.
Very gimpy. Yep, you're right. 4:07 to go in the game. Lutheran 37, Fort Morgan nothing. Again, a short post game. Then we'll get you to the Colorado Prep Scoreboard Show beginning at 9:30 with Kevin Schaefer. So we will pick that up in progress. He'll have all the scores. He's got 2 scoreboard shows this week. The playoff edition tomorrow from 3:30 to 5, even though Kevin mentioned there is some playoff action tonight with Stratton and Prairie, with Stratton up 46-0 at our last check. First and 10 from the 35. There's the give on the right side. That might be Griffin again, and he's got a yard. Second down and 9 to go. And now a Mustang is down. That's the last thing we need at this point. Somebody's on his knees at the 36-yard line. I wish we could just take a knee and get out of here. Because you're at a point in the game. What is the point of playing?
Yep.
Is that's Oscar Ramirez?
Yep.
He's been banged up earlier this season, but he's tough. So 2nd and 9. He might have taken a gut punch there. 2nd and 9 at the 36. Fort Morgan will close out this regular season at 3-7. Lutheran will go to 8-2. And as mentioned, they are headed to the 3A playoffs beginning next weekend. They are ranked 4th, so considering the season they've had, even though the league is not very tough, they should be able to get a home game. Well, they're the league champion and a fairly highly ranked team. There's the give up the middle and breaking a tackle into the secondary and still going across the 40 to the 38. That's Griffin for a gain of 26 yards and a first down.
JV's played Lutheran, or I guess it was the C team played Lutheran last night to a pretty close game. Fort Morgan coming out ahead at the end.
Yep.
1st and 10 at the 39-yard line of Fort Morgan. 3:25 and counting. Yeah, let's just get this over with. Man. You know, at halftime it was entertaining. 10-0, then even 17-0, but the mistakes started happening. And Fort Morgan's not going to call any more timeouts. Not that they have anyway, but they're not going to stop the clock. They just want to go home, as does Lutheran. From the 39, the play clock is inside of 5 seconds. There's the snap. Hand off to Griffin. Stutter steps to the 36 for a gain of close to 3. It's 2nd down and 7 to go.
And on the tackle, number 63, Colin Duckworth.
Colin Duckworth. What a career he's had. Brian?
Yeah, he's been a great player. That's for darn sure. Last year, this year, bright spot on that defensive line. Linebacker, I guess, is where he's at. But yeah, his name has been called numerous times this year.
And you still have 2 more years of Noah Aguirre, and he's been excellent as well.
Right.
Yep.
And 3 years of JJ to develop as a quarterback.
Yeah.
He showed a lot of promise this year.
And Ben Fritzer will be your starting running back next year, but Brandon Marquez, Gabriel Bosworth, Elvin Yanez, Chase Romero, other seniors, Chase Redding, David Keller. There's the give in a big hole for Griffin. Griffin might score here to the 5, and he's down inside the 5 to about the 2. Gain of 28. He's got speed.
Yep.
Oh, it's at the 3-yard line. Well, this will get to a running clock. They score here. In fact, if they score, you know what they really should do is just take a knee and they.
Yeah.
But I don't think that's going to happen. I think they're going to try to score. Now, Wesolowski running over towards the sideline. Conceivably, you could take 2 knees and this game's over because the clock is still running. It's at 1:35 to go. There's really no need to score.
No.
Right, you can go into victory formation for
Yeah,
sure.
you just had a big run. I think they're going to take a timeout here because the clock is running down. Yeah, they're not going to get a playoff, but the quarterback is near the sideline. And let's see what they decide to do.
They
But
didn't even call a timeout. They just let the clock.
yeah, what is it? Yeah, there you go. There's a delay of game. And perhaps they'll just take the knee. I think that's the right thing to do. Now the clock's going to be rewound. We'll celebrate all the seniors here momentarily for Fort Morgan. I was starting to mention them, but let me wait till after the clock has expired. We're down to 55 seconds to go. And that appears, yeah, they are in victory formation. And Wesolowski will take a knee. And that'll be it, even if they have to run another play. The final score tonight, Lutheran 37, Fort Morgan nothing. The postgame show is brought to you by Advanced Agri Solutions. Make sure the nutrients you purchase for your field are getting to your crops. Get a full plan of seed, food, and water with Advanced Agri Solutions. Call Dusty or Roxy 970-571-2024. good game in the opening half. You had the 15-yard pass from Sorensen to Whistler, then the 24-yard field goal by Small, and it was 10-0. They did miss a field goal right before the break, but then the interceptions in the third quarter killed Fort Morgan. And did Lutheran ever take advantage? Sorensen on 3 occasions, a 70-yarder, a 9-yarder, and a 14-yarder found Joe Ciccio. And then you had the 24-yard touchdown pass to Ryan Kenny. And that was it. Lutheran now at 8-2, headed to the playoffs. The Mustangs at 3-7. And the numbers really don't matter at this point, the total numbers. We know that Sorensen, who had only thrown for 67 yards at the break, went for nearly 200 yards by himself in that second half, thanks in part to that 70-yarder, as Lutheran wins the game that didn't matter as much to Fort Morgan. When the Mustangs had to win, of course, in the semifinals, they were able to take care of business 23-21, but Lutheran the better team. But at least, Kevin, they played the entire 48 minutes of football without a running clock.
Yeah, they played hard. I would say they won the first half. I mean, other than their 2 turnovers, it would have been 0-0. You know, they played a great first half. Second half, they kind of got worn down and a couple big plays because Lutheran's a big play offense. And, I think Fort Morgan seniors have a lot to be proud of. A year of adversity, sometimes you learn more from a year of adversity than you do from a year of glory. You don't have as good of memories, I'm sure, but, you know, I'm sure that all those players will leave the field with pride being a Mustang.
Yep. And those seniors include Brandon Marquez, Gabriel Bosworth, Elvin Yanez, Chase Romero, as well as Chase Redding. David Keller had an incredible season despite a lot of mishaps physically. Kayshawn Johnson, along with Aiden Derry. I mean, that one, Brian, I think that one killed him early. When Aiden Derry got hurt early on in the season, because he was a powerhouse for Fort Morgan.
Yeah, and, and too bad for him because, he got hurt last year and wasn't able to contribute, and then he got hurt again this year. And it's tough, as a senior, you want to be out there, be with your buddies out there playing, and he just wasn't able to do it, but he was on the sidelines and cheering them on, so that's a tough way to go out.
Elijah Palacios, another senior, along with Adolfo Hernandez, Colin Duckworth, Caleb Fonseca, as well as Muyenga Kasura. Those are your seniors for the 2022 Fort Morgan Mustangs. And congratulations to Kevin and Brian. They put up with me for another year. I don't know how you did it. I mean, that's but I appreciate that.
It was the Greek food.
It was the Greek food, yeah. Well, thank you for the recommendation, Kevin. And we always have fun after games whenever we're all three together and enjoy some conversation and some food as well. The final scores, we put a wraps with a Colorado Prep Scoreboard show coming up here in just a minute. The final score from Legion Field on senior night. Lutheran 37, Fort Morgan nothing. And, of course, Jonathan Prouty, let me not forget about him. All right, Johnny Prouty, a manager on this team. I was looking at the players. He's pretty much a player, considering that he was a manager for a few seasons on this team. So congratulations to one of my sons, Johnny Prouty, as well. He'll be graduating in 2023, and we'll be seeing more of him, not only in the athletic realm, but with all of his endeavors throughout this senior year for him. Along with Brian Nickel and Kevin Rohde, I'm John Beltran. The final scores, the Colorado Prep Scoreboard Show is on the way on senior night from Legion Field. The score, Fort Morgan loses to Lutheran in the finale. Lutheran 37, Fort Morgan nothing. You've been listening to Mustang Football on Morgan County's B106, B106.com, and the Eastern Plains Sports Network. Before we sign off, we've got the opening round of the Class A football playoffs coming up tomorrow. And that will be a 1 o'clock kickoff as Wiggins, the number 3 seed, takes on the 14 seed North Fork. 37-0 Lutheran on Morgan County's B106 and the Eastern Plains Sports Network.